Hey everybody, Brian Raison, Coach, coming at you today live from Ohio Stadium, an iconic place to be sure. And what I want to talk about today briefly is a quick review of our football coach, Urban Meyer's book, Above the Line. First question, let's just jump in. What do you do when somebody's tailgating you? I mean, right up there on your bumper, just so close. Anybody tap their brakes? I've probably done that before. Does anybody wave with one finger? Yeah, probably not the best thing, but we've seen it. Well, allegedly, I was driving a little too close to somebody here not too long ago. Now, I've diagrammed this out so you can see I really don't think it was my fault. So anyway, this guy finally puts on his blinker and turns, and halfway through the turn, he hits the taillights, or hits his brakes, causing me to have to swerve out and around him. And I'm like, really? And as I'm going by, I look over, and guess what? He's waving at me with one finger. It wasn't pretty. I really wanted to wave back. And then I remembered, oh, my 16-year-old daughter is sitting next to me in the seat, and we were literally on our way, like to the church parking lot, so we could practice her driving skills so she can get her license. And immediately, the thought hit me, always respond above the line. It was like a knife. Man, a ton of bricks. We'll talk about this formula that takes 10 seconds to understand, but truly a lifetime to master. Tim Knight from Focus 3. I'll give you some of his insight and share that. Coach Meyer shares it pretty in-depth in the book from 2015, Above the Line. If you're a football fan, you'll love it even more. If you're not, though, the leadership lessons are highly valuable, so I really encourage it. So let's jump in. In Chapter 1, Coach says, what are the two different ways that we respond to an event? We either respond above the line in a good way, intentional, on purpose, using our executive brain, a skillful kind of a response, or that below the line, impulsive, emotional, waving with one finger. So what's the difference? Well, if you're out on the glorious football field here, you may think that making those responses is pretty important. But I contend in just our normal work that we do, for me at Ohio State with the Department of Extension, out working with communities, my decisions and the work that we're doing is just as important because it's impacting the lives of people, real citizens across the state and country. So what's the formula? In Chapter 2, he lays it out. It's a 10-second, you can memorize this. An event happens, you respond, and then there's an outcome. But guess what? There's a lot more. You may have seen this before. Jack Canfield started talking about it 10, 15 years ago. And the note that Coach and Tim Knight say is that this is not a quick fix tool to change the way you work. You've got to change how you think, or else it won't work. So what happens when you put the formula with the notion of responding above the line? Well, an event happens. You either respond above and have a good outcome, or below and it's good luck. So 6 skills in Chapter 3, I think it might be. Coach lays out some skills that you can absolutely do. They're really easy, but you have to be conscious and you have to think about them. So I'll just give you the first 3, and you can buy the book to read the book to get the rest. First thing is press pause. Just slow down and think. Second, get your mind right. Get it into a productive emotional state. Think about that guy right on your tail. You're not in a good emotional state. Another one, adjust and adapt. Get great at mental change. Maybe the person tailgating you has an emergency. Maybe they've got something at home that's an emergency with their family. So take some minute. It's not easy to do, but you can do it. The key question to do, or to ask yourself, is what does the situation require of me? Again, executive brain responding versus the emotional reaction. It's a huge difference. So I teach a graduate class on leadership this semester, in fact, here at Ohio State. I told my students a couple weeks ago that this may be the most important thing I tell them the whole year, that your response is an event for somebody else. So your R creates an E. That's a powerful thought, and that's there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with that thought. Tim spoke at our annual conference a couple years ago, and he talked about that whatever our business is, whether it's education or a for-profit business, whatever it may be, we're all seeking outcomes, these desired results. And the problem is, and this is outlined in chapter 3, most leaders start by looking at the results, or for the results. They're looking at the numbers, the dashboard. Tim says you can't make the car go any faster by staring at the speedometer, the numbers. That's not going to work. What you have to do is go backward and get to the engine, the culture, because it's the culture that is driving the behavior of the organization, and it's the behavior then that is producing the results. So don't start at the end. Start back as a leader with that culture and think through. That's where your E plus R equals O really comes into play. So, Coach gives us this quote. I absolutely love it. Success isn't determined by what happens to us. So think about that just for a second. Every day there's stuff happening, but that's not what determines our success. Instead, it's determined by how you choose, active voice, to manage your response. Oh, that implications here are huge. Implications every day in our life, perhaps even bigger. Homework. I always like to assign some homework. Find you a quiet place on campus or at your office. Sit down and think about how will you respond the next time somebody's tailgating you. That's it. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a great day.